So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the BAMMA 26 press conference. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Just to let you know, it's fantastic. We're just a few days away from this event. It's taken a few knocks. It's been moved, but it shows the depth and strength of the card that we have still got such a fantastic event. 3 titles on the line, some wonderful talent from Ireland and beyond, and we've got a wonderful panel in front of us that we're going to talk to now. So to introduce them as we go along, first of all, we'll start with Mr. Paul Redmond. Give him a round of applause. Welcome to the press conference. Rany, obviously our CEO David Green, Andy DeVent, Mr. John Kavanagh, Andy Young, and at the end we've got the one for Mr. Peter Queally. So thank you all for joining us. We'll open up for questions very shortly. I'll just have a quick word with each of the panel. Mr. Kavanagh, may I start with you? That's why not. There we go. Welcome. Thank you very much. We know you've had a fairly busy month, but I think you'll be the busiest man in the arena tomorrow. Is it 8 fighters you have on the card?
I think it's 9 now.
9 now. Why not make it busier? There we go. So you'll be covering more mileage between the cage and backstage than most people will be making towards the event.
That's my cardio done for today.
That's it. That's your strength and conditioning, your cardio. Just from that point of view, how do you manage those sort of I suppose that diversity of fighters, where they're coming from, their level? How do you manage that as their head coach?
Well, we've done it a few times now. Anytime there's a big show in Dublin, it's going to be probably dominated by SPG fighters. You know, we're one of the biggest pro teams. Well, we are the biggest pro team in the country, and we have a system in place. You know, each pro fighter has a second that will stay with them during the day, help them warm up, and then I'll just go to the corner, each of them separately. So. Experience, that's what will get us through it.
And what gets you through that individually as well, because each fight will be a roller coaster for you in itself. You've got to reset after each one, whether it's the highs or the lows. How do you manage that personally?
Kind of same answer, experience. You know, this is plus 10 years doing this, so there's nothing I'd rather do. It's not. I don't get nervous. I don't get upset about it. I'm actually. This is my favorite Saturday night. My favorite Saturday night is going to a fight show. That's absolute best thing in the world for me to do.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us, and also congratulations on outdoing the amount of SBG gyms to McDonald's in Dublin. That's absolutely wonderful. Congratulations on that. We'll move on to our CEO, Mr. David Green. Thank you for joining us on this. This is the 2nd show this year, 3rd show happening in Ireland since BAMMA made that journey across the ocean. I mean, what makes this fit so well? Because it seems to work on every level.
Well, we took a bit of a gamble, I think, last year coming over to Dublin. I had a good feeling about it. I knew the fight fans over here would really give us a warm welcome, which they did. And we couldn't have been more happy. I mean, it really blew our expectations last year. And as you say, we've had one great event already this year. It's our 2nd event in 2016, and hopefully 2017 will be even more.
Fantastic, there we go. Let's move on to the fighters then. Champion Rany Saeed, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
I've got some news for you. Did you know that you are the longest reigning BAMMA champion ever?
Am I? That's good.
That's pretty good, isn't it? There we go. Give me a round of applause for that. There you are. Not bad. Obviously, it's been a while since you fought now. Have you been itching to get back? How's the training camp been for this one?
Perfect. I've not a single scratch, you know. I feel good. I trained back home in Germany, in Berlin. Nothing fancy. Just used the resources I had and build a big castle from it.
Superb. And then the most important question of all, obviously we know you're an ice cream man. What's the flavour of choice for post-fight ice cream?
I go for Ben & Jerry's, half-baked.
Perfect.
They should sponsor me. Yeah, come on, Ben & Jerry's.
Are they in the room? I don't think so. We'll see. That's fine. And your opponent, Mr. Andy Young, welcome. We should change your nickname from Taz to the Magpie because you seem to like collecting shiny things. 3 fights, 3 titles. This will be your 4th title fight. Do you think that's giving you an advantage coming into this compared to other opponents that might be taking on a champion?
Yeah, well, I definitely feel I've got more momentum coming into this fight. Like I said, I do enjoy collecting belts, and I'll be getting that 4th one then on Saturday.
Fantastic, best of luck to you. There we go. Drop the mic, there we go. Let's go hip hop. Why not? Let's welcome Mr. Paul Redmond as well. Give him a round of applause. Fantastic to have you on the card. It's a fight that you must have thought almost wasn't going to happen. This is the 2nd change in opponent. To be a few days away from this one, how does that feel?
It's the third opponent. Yeah, it's great. You know, Unfortunately, I didn't get to fight Jack McGann. He moved on to different pastures. It would have been a good fight, you know, but yeah, I'm glad he's got me someone, so yeah, can't wait to get in there on Saturday.
Also saw on your Twitter that you did a bit of relaxation this week, fishing with Mr. Neil Seary.
Yeah, you know, it's nice to get out of the gym like that, especially on the last few days when it's all weight cutting and just watching calories and stuff like that. So we went down there yesterday, 5 o'clock in the morning, 2-hour drive, spent the day out in the boat fishing and 2-hour drive back, and yeah, took my mind right off the weight cut and weight came down then today, so all's good.
And who got the biggest pollock?
Carl Roach's dad.
Well done, Carl Roach's dad. And let's welcome Mr. Peter Queally as well, give him a round of applause. Thank you for joining us, sir. Stepping in for this fight, you've obviously been involved in a huge camp on the run-up to this one. You must have been itching just to use those skills and that training that you've gathered over at that camp there. How's it feel to be just a few days away from stepping in now?
Yeah, it feels great. I was obviously busy preparing Artem and Connor for their fights, so it's just a matter of just keeping it going for a week once I got home, and I can't wait for this Saturday, to be honest. I love fighting in Dublin. I don't get to do it very often. And this is the second time in a row I fought here, so it's a big thing for me to fight here in Dublin, and I just can't wait for this show.
Great to have you as well. And then let's welcome Mr. Andy DeVent as well, taking on John the White Matt Tyson Phillips for the middleweight title. Great to have you. Obviously, you've been in the mix with this title for a long time. Your last performance really was a statement as to why you should be taking this fight. You've changed. I've seen on your Facebook you've put up a lot of things about going back to where you used to train, like the Stretford Bridge, reliving those moments. This feels like it's a very pivotal moment, obviously for the belt, but also personally for you. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. You know, going back to the bridge in Stretford, it's done a lot of things for me. It's made me realise where I've come from and how far I've come in the MMA fighting championships. You know, it's just made me think that, you know, if I really want it, you know, I've got to want it, and I really want it. So that's why I go to the bridge. You know, it takes me back to being like just on the streets and stuff like that. You know, so I'm sure it's going to be fun on Saturday night. Yeah.
They also say that you're either a lover or a fighter, but this year you're a bit of both. Congratulations, you got engaged this year, is that correct?
Yeah, I got engaged to my fiancée, Helen Byrne. I love her loads.
Fantastic. And how was that compared to stepping in the cage, building up to that moment?
That was more terrifying than fighting anybody, even John Phillips.
Fantastic. Well, let's give our panel another round of applause. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We'll open up for questions, so if you do have them, I think we've got a roaming mic. Have I got someone doing that for me? Oh, there you go. There'll be one on the table just there for you, fella. If you have a question, pop your hand up and we'll get the wonderful Mr. Chris Boyne to come and speak to you. Anyone got a question for any of our panel?
Question?
Nice early afternoon then.
Someone must have a question.
Mr. Jan, how does it feel to face the flyweights #1?
I don't know about number one, but it's going to be a great fight. You know, I do have a lot of respect for him. He's a great guy, but it's just great that I do want to thank him for being part of this journey for me to the top. But yeah, no, it's going to be a great fight, but he won't be #1 at all, like on after Saturday night.
I'll show.
Do you have a response to that?
I'll show it. I'm happy for the opportunity to show the world that I'm one of the best flyweights in the world, and even the best flyweight Ireland has ever seen. You know, the best flyweight in Ireland, even though I'm not even Irish. You know, so I'm looking forward to that fight, and I can't wait. Gonna be a good one.
Superb. Any other questions from the floor? One over there for us.
Just to John, you said that previously your 2 UFC shows in Dublin have really done a lot for the sport in terms of moving it along and progressing it. Do you feel like a big night on Saturday night could do similar for the sport and getting its continued growth now?
Well, this is the biggest one, and the reason I say that is because of the responsibilities that BAMMA have taken on board, raising the safety standards, which is huge, which is going to have a knock-on effect for the rest of for the UK and the rest of Europe. So I'm very thankful to them, because that was a huge risk. You know, when they announced what they were doing, there's a lot more expense involved for each fighter in order to get their medicals done. But we had to do this. We had to follow the same rule as pro boxing. and and UFC as well, the standard they set. So I'm delighted that's happened. I'm very thankful to BAMMA, very loyal to BAMMA. I'll always be, hopefully, a big part of their show when they come to Ireland. So Saturday night is the first show, the first pro show in Ireland that has introduced these new safety standards. And as a coach, someone concerned about the safety of fighters, that's big for me. So it's an historical night, and on top of that, we have really from top to bottom, as a fan, an amazing fight card.
What would you say to some people sitting at home who might have got into the MMA via the UFC and stuff like that? What would you say to them about the talent available and what might be on show on Saturday?
It's I sometimes laugh thinking back. I used to run small little amateur. Well, it was pro fights back then, but the really kind of an amateur show. And I remember I had a show with Gunnar Nelson, Conor McGregor, Aisling Davey, Paddy Houlihan, and it was a tenner for a ticket. And I struggled selling them. I'd probably sell it out now pretty handy.
Probably.
But what I'd say to fans is this is the chance to look at future stars here. Everybody up on this stage here has, everybody uses the UFC as a measuring scale, and there's no one here on this table that doesn't have the skills to get to that level. And for me, BAMMA is more or less the top show in Europe, and it don't have to be bound down to the UFC. They're, as far as I'm concerned, these fighters here have a skill level equivalent to anybody that fights on the European cards for UFC. So for the sake of a couple of euros, and this show is just down the road, this place should be sold out. There's a lot of Irish guys that obviously support that Conor fella, and if they're MMA fans, that's where they should be on Saturday night. That place should be sold out, and we should be deafened for all these guys that are making the walk.
And just finally, for me, Peter, just yourself. I know you were close with Tim Means there a couple of months ago, and obviously visa issues kind of made that fell through. You're obviously looking with UFC Belfast even around the corner. Are you looking for a massive performance?
Yeah, I think I win here and I'm on Belfast, 100%. That fight was mine. They gave it to me for about 6 hours. I was signed, and then they came back later in the day and no, we can't get you your visa. And they gave the Tim Means to fight to some American that he butchered. And I was watching that fight in the dressing room and I was just sickened out because I would have beat him, I would have beat the brakes off him. So yeah, a big win for me this weekend, and I'm very confident I'll be on Belfast in November.
Anyone else for the questions? Well, we've got a wonderful panel here. Anyone else want to ask anything while we've got the opportunity at the front there?
Hey Peter, how are you doing? A lot of people, you would have come to a lot of people's attention in recent times through Conor McGregor's social media feeds. Obviously you're a teammate of his, a pal of his. Spending that much time with him though, being a sparring partner, coming up to such big fights, how do you feel that's improved you? Being that close to such a high caliber fighter, do you feel that's improved you in your fighting journey?
Of course, Conor is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world in my opinion, so it's a privilege and an honour and a responsibility that I take very seriously, being his main sparring partner. So the knock-on effect for me is that I'm just uber prepared once I get in there. There's nothing I can face that I haven't seen before from Conor. There's no kind of pressure that I'm going to face in this fight that I haven't seen before from Conor. And I'm certainly not going to be in tough spots in this fight that Conor has put me in the past. So yeah, it's a great privilege for me to be his main sparring partner, and yeah, it does. It has helped me tremendously, and it's made me the fighter I am today. So yeah, it has.
Thanks, Peter. Best of luck.
Thank you. Time for more questions if you have them. Anyone else want to pop a question to the panel? There we go. I'd like to ask a couple more if that's possible, just for Paul Redmond to start with. Obviously, it's been a while since your last fight. It must be exciting to be getting back in there. But I mean, how have you stayed motivated, stayed on top? Because there's been so many ups and downs towards the fight on Saturday.
Yeah, I just do the sport because I like it. So even if there was no fight there, I'm still training twice a day. I'm still out doing my runs, and I live a pretty clean lifestyle anyway. So I do this for me rather than just going out just to fight, And then the opportunity then to fight is just a little bonus then off the back of it, Yeah, it has been a long sort of road from the last fight, but that's not through my fault or not for wanting a fight. My last fight was in, say, June of last year, and then we technically didn't get released till December. Then there was a little bit of back and forth between contract negotiations between a couple of places, and then I ended up choosing BAMMA. And it was a little bit late that I didn't get onto the Dublin card then when BAMMA came, and then we were matched on the June card for BAMMA. That got put back. I got matched on a show in Bolton, and then the 2 fighters pulled out. So I've been matched. It's just been one of those sort of awkward sort of getting back in there, but it's not for wanting, not for trying to get a fight, you know. So I think the time off has sort of done me the world of good. I haven't had to worry about fight camps, dieting. I've just been literally just training for the last 15 months, 14 months. So I just think I was going to see the best of me in there on Saturday, you know. Yeah.
And just to add on to that, you've obviously been involved with BAMMA as far as helping coach and corner a lot of the fighters that go through this. What's the knock-on effect you found from Team Rhino for young people coming in and starting the sport with a promotion like BAMMA coming to the city so regularly?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest shows that come here outside of the UFC. It probably is the biggest show that comes to here outside of the UFC. You know, they get a sellout crowd down in the O2, and any of the younger guys from the gym, they'll do little jiu-jitsu competitions and, you know, go to smaller MMA shows. But when they go and see that, it's like going to the UFC. You know, it's just as big. The production is second to none. You know, so for them, it's brilliant. You know, and it does have a little knock-on effect. And they're striving in the gym to say, I want to fight on BAMMA. You know, that's the show I want to be on. So it's great for them. You know.
Fantastic. And let's move on to Andy as well. Just talk about your fight. We spoke at the Body Expo in Birmingham. We crossed paths and we talked. You were itching for this fight for a long time. You didn't think it was going to happen. You didn't think he was going to sign the contract because you didn't think he could handle what you bring. I mean, how do you see the fight matching up? And are you surprised that he did sign for this fight?
No, I'm not surprised that he signed for the fight because he's a fighter, John. You know, and that's his job and that's what he's there to do. I really wanted to fight, you know. I'm a fighter myself, and I want to fight the best, and you know, beat the best, and you know, and be up there with the best. As I said when I met you in, was it Birmingham? Yeah, Birmingham. You know, I think was it before or after the Paul Byrne fight?
After the Paul.
Just after the Paul Byrne fight. You know, Paul's a tough kid. You know, take nothing from Paul. It's just that I got there quicker than him. Maybe if he got quicker than me, he would have mostly done the same to me. Do you know what I mean? I just got in there, didn't mess about. You know. As we go back to the Cheek Cowan fight, I wasn't the same lad who fought Cheek. You know, take nothing from Cheek. He beat me on the night. You know, great lad. You know, great fighter. I just wasn't myself. You know, my training camp didn't go great over there in Thailand and stuff like that. That's why I didn't go back there. That's why I chose Saigon Sports, Vietnam. You know, I've been focused over there and I've been hungry. Got a few injuries and stuff like that, but you know, nothing that I couldn't work around and just stay on the path of winning this title. You know, it means the world to me winning this title. You know. And I'm sure me and John will be in a great fight on the night.
Talk a bit about your training camp. Then you made the move over to Saigon Sports Club. An amazing facility, unbelievable training there, very focused. Talk about the food though, because you enjoyed a range of things from frogs to rats. I believe. Is that?
You know, well, I'm a lion and a lion eat most things, you know. So I ate frogs, I ate snakes, I ate all sorts of different birds. I ate. My God, I ate rats, I ate voles, I ate quite a few, many nasty things, but you know, but you know, to tell the truth though, it's all like, it's all organic food really, you know. So, you know, like after I spent like the weekend out at Dong Tap at my friend's house, and I actually went back to Ho Chi Minh City and I ate like a, you know, I ate a KFC and then I ate a pizza, you know, because I needed it, you know, and I was ill for like 2 days. So, you know,
sticking to organic rat then.
Yeah, organic rat from now on. But my camp went fine out there. They had some great coaches behind me, putting all the energy into me and stuff like that, which I don't get over here in the UK. That's why I chose to go out to Vietnam, you know, and the coaches have put everything into me, you know, and I respect them for that. And hopefully, you know, I'm going to let that shine on Saturday.
We talked about your personal life as well. They say a happy fighter is the most dangerous fighter. Obviously, everything is good that side. Coming into the fight, has that been a big boost for this camp?
Yeah, you know, I am happy. There's been times when, you know, all fighters get down and fight their own battles and stuff like that. But at the moment in time in my life, I'm happy, I'm content. You know, I've got a beautiful fiance, I've got a lovely little girl. You know, all my friends and family around me, everyone's doing well. You know, there's been no ups and downs and stuff like that. So, you know, happy fighters, a focused fighter, I'd say. You know, so yeah.
Fantastic. There we go. We've got any more questions? We did have a question. Sorry, sir. There you go.
Grant. Yeah, this one's for Double A. what are strategies that would you be introducing in the future to keep the progression of the sport going in the country with regards to, you know, the training of specific coaches, etc., and referees and cutmen?
Yeah, well, luckily the IMAF, the International Federation, they already have these things in place, you know, progression schemes to bring up athletes, to bring up referees, to bring up judges. So it's kind of copy and paste, just bring in the systems they already have. Although Saturday night we're not officially regulating the sport, the regulations that BAM have self-imposed would actually probably exceed any regulatory body that was here anyway. There is one amateur contest on the bout. See David there in the background. He's the fighter, and we are the regulatory body for that amateur fight. But moving forward, you know, we had Battle Zone there a couple of weeks ago, and the safety standards that were at that show, which was an all-amateur show, far exceeded anything that was done on professional shows previous to what BAM have done. You know, they basically had an ER room on site on the night. You know, all the fighters now have to get annual medicals and biannual blood tests. They all have to get a pre-fight medical, which back in the day was, "Are you all right?" That was a pre-fight medical. Now it's, you know, blood pressure, full examination from the doctor, and post-fight as well. So the safety standards that have been introduced over the last 12 months, which, although, like I said, the IMA, the Irish body, doesn't have any powers as yet. We're working our way through the Sport Ireland process so that we do become the national governing body. But what we are able to do as a collective, because all the coaches with all the fighters are part of this, we can collectively lean on local promoters and say, listen, we're not going to supply fighters unless you meet our rules and regulations. So by the time we do actually get the official status to be the regulatory body for both amateur and professional mixed martial arts, I'm happy to say, looking at Battle Zone amateur show last week and now BAMMA this Saturday, we're already ticking all the boxes.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions?
John just reminded me of a funny story. I once got a medical, I won in the show, and the doctor looked at me and he looked at my hands and my feet and he said, 10 fingers, 10 toes, okay. And that was it, medical done. So, well done to BAMMA, I feel much safer now.
And that doctor is a UFC doctor.
Yeah.
No one makes the Scouser. And he's actually still a UFC doctor.
We had a question over there, sorry? Yeah, one more over there.
Just for David. David, how much of a growth have you seen in Irish MMA since the last time BAMMA was over here?
I think Irish MMA has always been big, you know, and it's certainly, I would say, probably proportionally bigger than it is in the UK. But I think just for the growth and the response we've had for BAMMA has been fantastic, you know. I mean, as I say, we didn't know quite what to expect, as you never do, coming into a new territory. But everybody's been just so supportive, and we just found, you know, this year especially, it's just been, you can just see just from the response to each show, just getting bigger and bigger each time, and you know, hopefully that'll be reflected on Saturday night. But some amazing fights, some amazing fighters, you know, old faces from BAMMA, and some new faces. Great to have someone like Retzer on board here. I think the first time he's actually fought in the 3 Arena, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. So for us to be able to do that, that's great. So no, I just think it's such a brilliant fight sport country, and it's just a privilege to come here.
Yeah, and just on tickets, are there still many available left? Is there any update on that?
I believe the 35s are sold out, but we have got a few more tickets left. Yeah, at Ticketmaster.
And just you, yeah, exactly, you can say that. And just you, Paul, as a Dubliner yourself, how do you feel like fighting somewhere like in the 3 Arena, which should be a big crowd?
Yeah, we missed out on the 2 Dublin shows for the UFC, and then I missed out on the 2 Dublin shows for BAMMA, so I'm probably the only Irish fighter not to have fought down there in 3 Arena, so yeah, it'll be good down there on Saturday night, you know, full house, so yeah.
And many family and friends come along, I'm guessing?
I don't know, I actually don't let them come to any of my fights, so I think my sister got tickets, so just my sister and maybe my brother, that's about it, you know.
Brilliant, cheers.
Fantastic. Any more questions? Got one at the front again. Thank you, sir. There we go.
Mr. Saeed? what can the Irish MMA scene expect from you on Saturday night and in the future?
Well, future plans don't go too far. I just see myself knocking out this guy on the right, Andy Young, and then a week of hamburgers and ice cream, and we'll see what's next for me. They can expect a war. I think it's I didn't have many opportunities for myself to prove that I belong here to the top, and I finally feel like being in the co-main event, this is the right time to get involved into a real brawl, a real fight, and a war, and I think every Irish MMA fan can look forward to that.
Fantastic. You look very similar. And your relation? No, at all. There we go. I thought you brought your friends and family. I'm joking. Any more questions before we move on? That will do it. First of all, let's thank the panel, Mr. Paul Redmond, Rany Saeed, David Green, Andy DeVent, John Kavanagh, Andy Young, and Peter Queally. Thank you for your time. Tickets still on sale, tickets still available. Join us on Saturday night for BAMMA 26. Thank you for your time as well. Cheers.